Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined by golf handicapper Brady Kannon today at Las Vegas Golfer on Twitter. Make sure you guys give him a follow. In our previous video, we talked a little bit about betting golf strategies. This one, we're going to focus on what Brady's strengths are and head-to-head matchups. One of the questions I had for Brady off air was talking about guys playing at different courses every week. He had a nice little analogy, horses for courses. Some of these guys are absolute monsters in certain areas and then are really good bets against and others. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's really the foundation of my handicap for handicapping golf, is you have to match the golfer to the course. And I think it's a lot like NASCAR, Kelly, where these drivers drive a different racetrack every week. So some guy might be good at Daytona, but he's lousy in Las Vegas, and there's different conditions. And golf is the same way. They play a different track every week. So there's some guys that excel. A course may ask of you different skill sets. Like one course, you have to be a great putter. One course, you have to be a great driver of the golf ball. So you look for guys that have skill sets that match what the test is asking of them each week. One guy Jordan Spieth, we see, has just really become a Masters whisperer. He's good at the Masters every year, but Bubba Watson, for instance, is not so great typically at the U.S. Open. So there are certain guys that fit. A course suits their eye, and you want to try and isolate those skill sets that work at each particular course. And like you say, horses for courses. That's kind of where I like to start with my handicap before I dive in deeper. Okay,
so you start there. Where's the next step? I mean, we talked about in a previous video how you see that bookmakers will give matchups, and it may be Dustin Johnson minus 125 versus Jordan Spieth. Well, Jordan Spieth's still a great golfer. I'm catching 105 with him. Well, maybe it's worth a second look here.
Absolutely. Great point. And what I'll do, first of all, is try to identify what the course that they're playing that week is going to demand. Dustin Johnson is a great driver of the golf ball. So is that going to be more important on this course than, say, putting, which Jordan Spieth is excellent at? So you want to isolate the 4 or 5 or 6 different areas that course is going to dictate as are going to be the skill sets that produce winners. Year in and year out, the guy that putts well at this course seems to win. So you want to find, who's a good putter. So you take the skill sets of those two players in that matchup and say, boy, the skill sets for this golf course, I see Dustin Johnson as maybe even bigger than a 125 favorite over Jordan Spieth. And then, of course, you make your play.
Awesome. I like it. A couple other bets we'll go over just for the viewers. You can also do an outright winner bet, which is really exciting. That's the kind of stuff I like. Like you said, it's the bigger payout. I had Sergio a couple of years ago at, I think, 35 to 1, and then it just went downhill from there. But that's okay. We won't relive the past. But those are always fun. Some proposition bets, if you want to touch on any of those. And then if they make or miss the cut.
Yeah, the futures market, like betting on who's going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to win the World Series. You can do that week to week with the golf tournament, who's going to win the tournament. And you're right, it's a lot of fun because you can hit a 50, 60, 100 to 1 winner. I like to look in the neighborhood of those 20 to 40 to 1s because those guys have a real shot and you're still getting a pretty darn good payout. It's tough to bet the favorites in a futures market in golf because they're competing against 150 guys. So, that's why a lot of the professionals will fall back to the matchups where you have obviously not as big a payout, maybe not as exciting, but probably a better chance at winning. The futures market, you really have to look at a lot of different screens, and you might see over at William Hill a guy's 40 to 1, and over at the Westgate a guy's 20 to 1, and that just indicates a good price on somebody. So the handicapping of the futures market is a little bit different than the head-to-head matchups, but a lot of fun when you hit a big winner.
Awesome. And then last but not least, we'll talk about make or miss the cut. This is something that's always interesting because if you don't follow golf, start following golf, but this is just if they make the cut Saturday morning, I guess technically Friday night, to play the final 2 days. So you can actually bet against a guy, says, hey, you know what? We know he's not good at this course. We know that maybe his wife just had a baby. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy things that happen.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You got to know some inside information like that. This guy's, going through a tough time with his family or this, this and that and the other. But there's always good information like that. And yeah, when you're betting a golf tournament, the golf tournament typically lasts 4 days, and typically after Friday, there is a cut after 36 holes, and you can bet a player to make or miss the cut. When Tiger was just coming back and we didn't know how good or how bad he was going to be, there was often bets on will Tiger make or miss the cut, and make the cut might have been minus 200 and miss the cut might have been plus 150. And if he misses the cut, you're a winner before the tournament's even over. So you know, and the thing about golf betting is, maybe, you know, you think about watching golf on TV and like, boy, this is boring and the announcer's so calm and mundane. But when you have action, every shot means something. So you've got something going constantly when they pan to this guy and that guy and the other guy. So when you've got a little bit of action going on a golf tournament, I think you'll find it quite exciting.
I love betting on golf. I'm not very good at it, so I'm going to take some of Brady's tips. Guys, make sure you check out all of our YouTube videos. Hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, leave us a comment, and make sure that you check out each and every one of these videos. Great content from Brady.